We saw the reaction that the Steve Cooper contract extension got from some of the Forest fans. Should Purslow and Villa do the same?
No. On what basis? I mean, this is a very different set of circumstances. This is a club that's been dragged out of the Championship by Steve Cooper that has a completely different dynamic. They haven't been in the Premier League. I know Villa have been down and relegated and back into the Premier League, but on whole, Villa have been in the Premier League since its formation. Forest have been there for a very small period of time. They've been in decline for 23 years, a quarter of a century. And a guy dragged them out of the division. Now, he doesn't get currency forever. You then have this backdrop of a slightly disarray in the playing squad, where they've had to go and buy a lot of players and deal with the situations that the owner's ambitions have written out checks that he's got to cash at some point in terms of prepare for trophies. All that's background noise, but it'll be played out repeatedly for the manager to listen to. They are completely different circumstances.
But it cuts through the noise. It cuts through the noise.
But
there was clarity at the end of it.
Steven Gerrard landed at Aston Villa with a completely different blueprint, thought process. Dean Smith had taken them up. Dean Smith had got them back into the Premier League. They were having a wobble under Dean Smith. They cut him out very quick. They brought Gerrard in. I thought there was a risk to bringing Gerrard in, and I thought that risk was specifically Steven Gerrard's, because the club will react quickly if it's going the wrong way. He's taken that risk. He hasn't set the heather on fire. He's made decisions about players like Coutinho that look good on paper but are not doing it. I think that you've got a situation where the writing on the wall in terms of the culture in the club came to the fore with whatever dispute he may or may not have with Tyrone Mings. That tells you that he's trying to impress himself upon the playing environment, and for whatever reason Tyrone Mings found himself foul of that at the beginning of the season. They're not good enough, Villa. They're not good enough tactically and technically, and that comes down to the manager.
Is Steven the man?
I don't think he is for the task that Aston Villa may have in hand, which is surely it's not to be outside the bottom three by a hair and to constantly be looking the wrong way down the division rather than the right one.
That's the first time you've actually said it.
No, I didn't. I said Gerrard was a huge risk.
But now you said it was a huge risk, but now you're saying, no, you don't think he's a man.
I don't think we've seen anything from him. When I saw him come over here, I thought to myself, well, I think he's a bit of a one-trick pony in Scotland. I think he's got a very good coaching staff, and I think they prop him up a little bit.
And he probably misses Mick Beale.
And then I don't know about that. You know, coaches are one thing, the manager's another, right? And of course, you're sum of all your parts. When he first came over here, I thought, like I just said, in Scotland, the Gary Macks of the world, I think they propped him up. When I saw him over here and I saw his engagement with the media, I saw the stature of the man, I thought, actually, no, I can see the juice. I can see what he can be as a manager. Now, that's beginning to diminish again, and it's beginning to look at it and go, well, actually, I'm not sure. The player, the manager, we're going to have to lose this Stevie G stuff. We're going to have to lose this Steven Gerrard elite player. We're going to have to look at Steven Gerrard in the rounds, in isolation, as a manager. Forget whatever he did and how many times he dragged Liverpool back from the precipice to the front of the queue and gave them opportunities to win Champions Leagues and FA Cups, and look at Steven Gerrard, the manager. 37 games, 13 wins. A team that looks clunky, dysfunctional, doesn't seem to have the belief or the tactical nous to find its way through challenges that it's currently undertaking. Yeah. So all of that puts you in a difficult position. Now, here's the conundrum, and here's the X factor. Was the brief to give Steven Gerrard enough time, like Arteta, to find his way through the challenges and to give him a development opportunity to build up some opportunities for Villa to be a competing side, or was it to get instantaneous impact? Because if the instantaneous impact he has achieved is to leave them precisely where he found them, which is pretty much what he's done, then the challenge is going to come on his toes.
Sure.
Well, it's going to come on his toes.
2 o'clock kickoff Sunday, Villa at home to Chelsea. That will be a test. Graham Potter's at Chelsea. Villa fans, what do you think? Give us a call. I'm seeing a lot of messages. Lee in Stourbridge saying, listen, there were many boos last night. We're too narrow, we're too slow, too many touches. Our owners are ambitious, so we need to bring in better staff now, says Lee. Nick there, Jim, Villa were a disgrace last night. We need a breath of fresh air. I'm afraid your man has to go. Steven Gerrard seemingly under a lot of pressure from his own fans this morning. So what do you, the Villa fans, really think? 03717 223344 81089.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.